This is a Merrick Studios podcast. This week on the Juniata men's basketball show.
But Pete Maravich and his father came to Juniata and performed a camp there. And I think they traveled with this snake in a cage. And Pete, in a demonstration to show how quick his hands were, he would put his hands in the cage and pull it back out before the snake could bite it. That's quick.
I'm Tom Frank.
I'm Biz.
I'm the head coach, Coach Curley.
And this is your Juniata men's basketball show. Welcome, listeners. I'm Tom Frank, and I am joined each and every week by Drew Beskett, a.k.a. Biz, and your Juniata head basketball coach, Greg Curley, as we talk all things Juniata men's college basketball. All right, fellas, I got two things to open up with here.
Yeah.
One of them's a personal item, and then the second one, we got to talk about some honors that were given to the basketball team.
Ooh.
All right, number one, I just had to get your opinion on this. So we're all, at least me and Biz, we're at that time now where we got kids going to college, right? We're now experiencing it all. So I got to tell you what happened to me today. I had to drive to West Virginia to drop off my son for a camp trip that was for freshmen. So we had to sign up for one of these camp trips. They were all throughout the summer, right?
I've heard of these, actually.
All right, so I drive 3.5 hours. We get to this place, and we pull in. I'm a little nervous because I don't see anybody else here. And then I'm like worried that I got the address wrong.
Oh, boy.
So I get out of the car, and just as we're like standing there, a guy comes around the corner. It's at this campground, and he's like, "Hey, you here for the West Virginia adventure?" And we're like, "Yeah, we're here." He's like, "Bring all your stuff up, and we'll check you in." And I was like, "Hey, where is everybody else?" And he said, "Well, you're the first ones here." Now, granted, I got there right on time. I was supposed to be there at 9 o'clock.
Huh.
So he's like, "You're the first ones there." So I was all right. So Gray's getting all his stuff, and we walk up there. And just as we get up there, the guy's like, "Oh, you must be Grayson Frank." And I was like, "That's kind of weird. How do you know who he was?" You know? And then I'm looking at the sign-up sheet, and I figured out why they knew who it was.
Why is
Gray is the only male on this entire camping trip.
Oh, boy. Wow.
Dude, I don't know how he pulled that off, but bravo
And
to him.
I said to them, "Hey, did we sign up for the wrong thing?" And he goes, "No, it just so happened that every other person who signed up was a female for this particular 4-day span, and Gray."
Biz would have never come out of the woods. He would have taken this.
So
That is
I
that's
still
not
was
years
a little
of outdoor
nervous.
school at Penn State.
I'm with you guys, though. My immediate thought was, you just hit the gold mine here.
I mean, he's got a leg up on every other dude coming into freshman year now.
Thank you for agreeing with me. So
I
I
mean-
wanted to share that to see if I was the only one who thought, well, that doesn't
Now,
sound
if it
so
was
bad
the
to
flip
me.
side and it was my daughter and they were all guys,
We were out of there.
we're rescheduling.
We're absolutely rescheduling.
That is correct.
Yes. So that's
It is a
what I
double
did
standard,
this
and
morning.
I'm not afraid to admit it.
3.5 hours there. I was there for 5 minutes and 3.5 hours back.
How long is he
pick
there
him up-
for? The whole week?
Pick him up on Wednesday. Here's the other thing. No cell phone.
Oh,
I have his
good.
cell phone with me.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
I wouldn't want any evidence of that.
Juniata do
either.
anything like this?
What's that?
Yeah, we have what's called an inbound program. So
Oh.
you can do whitewater rafting, you can do sports, there's one on like food and drink.
Well,
And
like where
so,
you eat in Huntingdon?
Yeah, well, they'll take them to restaurants,
Hmm.
go to Pittsburgh State College, whatever. You learn how to do that stuff, and you like taste different foods and stuff. A lot of our guys have done whitewater rafting, pretty similar.
Ooh, that'd be
There's
cool.
outdoors.
Yeah.
There's sports, so then you'll go to like Pirates games or you get tours of stadiums, stuff like that. So, yeah, it's
It is. Not bad.
really pretty cool. We just had some guys finish that last week. There's a couple different times during the year. It attaches to an orientation, so you can stick around and do that stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah.
What did your guys choose? Did they do whitewater rafting? What did we do?
I think food and cuisine or whichever one it was called.
Kind of
was
like the
one
food
of
and
them.
cuisine.
Ooh,
And then I
can't
think
be-
a
can't
couple
argue
of the
with
other
food.
guys might have done the kind of the sports thing.
All right. That makes sense.
All right, my second item before we get to a very,
Yes.
very special guest today. My second item, we got to give Coach props. The team was honored with the National Association of Basketball Coaches, the Team Academic Excellence Award, which is only given to programs that every single member has a GPA of 3.0 or higher. So
There
well
we
done,
go.
Coach.
Wow.
Well
Yeah,
done, Coach.
I mean
Congrats.
the team GPA is 3.0 and higher. Yeah, we had a good, I mean we've really made progress there. Again, when we were so young 2 years ago, and you have that many freshmen to see where those guys are now, it's pretty par for the course with kind of the development through our program over the years. We're blessed with the 3 juniors that are exceptionally strong students.
They were all given first team or whatever it was, NABC honors court as well. We're talking about Ben, Dylan, and Ty.
Yeah, Ben Landisman, Ty Kozak, and Dylan Kreis. The good news is we have some other guys that are ready for those honors next year that are sophomores and some of our freshmen if they stay on track. So, yeah, really strong group, and that's why we're excited for this year. The leadership those guys show, and there's a strong correlation over the years with how we do academically and how we've done on the court. A lot of that has to do with maturity and older guys and the development through time, but a lot of it also just has to do with the habits that correlate in terms of discipline, focus, commitment to something bigger, and guys that are focused on where they're trying to go. Yeah, I was actually talking to some of our incoming guys because we had day camp last week, and 4 first-year guys worked it with 1 sophomore. But, our 3 seniors, they're looking and trying to get jobs right now and like the different stages. So you're dropping gray off, and then these guys are, right now hoping to have jobs by the time they get to campus. So it's pretty cool to be a part of those 4 years as a coach. Is still probably the thing I enjoy the most, and it's really good to see their hard work paying off in the classroom.
Since this is a basketball show too, Coach Curley, why don't you enlighten the audience on the honor that Ty Kozak has ascended this summer?
Yeah, he got invited to play with one of the USA Select foreign tours. So he's in Brazil right now. He's the 3rd guy that we've had do that. I believe Alex Raymond did it. I believe Chase Husted did, actually 4th. And Jeremy Hayes actually did that. Now, you have to be an all-conference selection as an underclassman or not a senior. So his junior year is all conference, and that's how a lot of times you get the invite. There's actually the National Player of the Year is actually on his team from Division III, so he's playing with some of the top players in the country. He'll be in Brazil. I think they went to 26th, and then I forget, it's like 9 days. And then so he should be back here shortly. But yeah, it's the guys that have done that, it has really made a big difference. I think just that chance, anytime you get to go do that, play with other guys, experience, professional basketball at that level, learn how to kind of match or meld with other guys. And it's a little bit like, they used to talk about the Olympics. You get to see how these other guys work, right? And their focus and how they play and how they prepare and approach things. So super excited. He's definitely earned it. A lot of travel involved getting there, but the guys that have done it in the past, they've grown as players and come back different. So I'm excited to see what this does to help Ty and how that translates to success for our team.
Can't imagine.
Fantastic.
Can't imagine what his next level is going to look like, huh?
Well, if he can capitalize off the last 12 games and keep the direction he's going, he's got a chance to really have a great senior year. And again, he's one of our top students. He's got a great, bright future there. I mean, he really works hard. He's one of the best competitors we've ever had. So we're excited to see what he can do this year.
All right.
Wait for this transition. Talking about guys who have come off great senior seasons. We got one on today that might have had the greatest senior season in the history of Juniata basketball. Our guest today, Juniata legend, plain and simple, Roger Galo, suited up from 75 to 79. Do I have that right?
That's right. Yes.
75 to 79. Get this. He's still 3rd on the all-time scoring list with over 1,600 points.
Wow.
The guy could flat out score. Back then, he was one of the best in the country, enough that Marty Blake and the Seattle SuperSonics had him on their radar as an NBA prospect. But here's what I love about this guy's story. He didn't just walk away from the game. He spent 15 years obsessing over one question. Why aren't guys shooting better? And he figured it out. Then came the Galo method, which has taken him from AAU gyms to the NBA to research lab at NC State. Now it's all in his new book, The Pursuit of the Perfect Shot. This book might be about you, matter of fact. The Pursuit of the Perfect Shot. We're going to get into that and
if
so
we can
much
translate
more.
that to golf, Tom, I'm in.
You're in. Roger, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm grateful to all of you for having me on. I mean that.
All right, so let's dive into some of the senior year stuff here because I got a few things written down here. So you hold the single game scoring record with 50 points. Is this right? Versus Kings in February 3rd, 1979.
Yeah, I remember that. Yes. I think I fouled out in regulation time. I think. And I think that went
Wait, you
overtime.
fouled out in that game?
I think I did on that one. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I could be. We'll have to fact check that.
We'll
But
fact check that.
that's my
But
story.
you also finished with 19 school records, finished third in the country in scoring, 27.7 per game, which then also got you into the Juniata Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Right. That was quite an honor. Yeah. Great job, Thomas Frank. I appreciate that. Thank you.
So-
what an introduction.
Now that was before, Tom. That was before the 3-point line too. So he had 50.
That makes it. Yes, you're right.
Fouled out.
Another question I have: were freshmen allowed to play varsity back then?
I did
Okay.
play. Yes.
Okay, because there
And
was
no-
a point, well, at least in Division I, where freshmen couldn't play varsity, right?
That's right. Yeah. You've got good historical knowledge there.
Yeah, we were actually talking about Pistol Pete Maravich this morning, so that's why that came up. So,
Oh, were you?
yeah.
Here's a maybe not so little a known fact from your region, the Huntingdon area, that part of PA. But Pete Maravich and his father came to Juniata and performed a camp there.
Yeesh.
They came from the western PA, Pittsburgh area.
Yeah, they're
And,
from like Aliquippa.
Yeah, Aliquippa. And I think they traveled with this snake in a cage. And Pete, in a demonstration to show how quick his hands were, he would put his hands in the cage and pull it back out before the snake could bite it. That's quick.
This was his road trip that he did?
Yeah.
Wow, I hadn't heard that before.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
got to be quick. That's quick.
I actually give out an article every year to our guys. It's an article about Pete Maravich running his camp at Juniata for a number of years. So,
Oh, good. Great.
and so we try to educate our guys on that. I get, there were stories when he went to the NBA and he still ran his camp. He would come in a helicopter, get dropped off for camp, and then leave. His dad would run it. So a lot of the old timers here and all the guys like John Loss, who's a longtime high school coach for about 30 some years, worked that camp, and
Oh, boy.
I hear stories about that all the time. The other guy I hear stories about all the time is Roger Galo. So it's always good to talk to him and connect and follow what he's done since then.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Craig.
So you got to tell us, how do you get to Juniata? What's the story that got you to this little school in the middle of central Pennsylvania?
There was a gentleman who did such a great sales job, pretty much, on me, highlighting that I'm going to rebuild if I come there, I'm going to be responsible, contribute to the rebuilding of basketball at Juniata College. And the rebuilding part of me, that part of it appealed to me. I've always been a bit of an underdog, usually always playing up, guys from Pittsburgh, Pitt, from Duquesne, guys level of talent like that. Then he talked about how my mother would be able to watch me on TV and how I would be close to home. And so he said all the right things, and I would be covered by television. So it would be broader than the little community, and the little community was very appealing. And the camp was very scenic, to say the least, and it's only gotten better and better over the years. The gym did come, but not during my time there. It was supposed to be 2 years. By my second year, it was supposed to be
The new gym.
fourth year playing in that. But anyway, that was a short-lived coach who recruited me to play there, who then left and went off to Ball State, which was his dream job.
All right.
And so I think he was using it as a stepping stone. And the action, everything took place at a little faster pace than he anticipated, and not as fast a pace as I had anticipated with to the new gym and all the other stuff surrounding that. But and then the story about Pete, I had heard about Pete Maravich doing the camp there and clinic there. And coincidentally, there were 3 players who I tried to pattern my game after. Being genetically defective, 6 feet short as a basketball player, challenged, I knew what I was bright enough. And that's a contradiction of terms, as you'll find out in a minute here. I was bright enough to recognize I'd better become the best shooter that I could possibly become. So I patterned that part of my game after a guy by the name of Rick Mount, which goes back to I see you guys nodding your head, way back to the 70s.
Yeah.
But a beautiful shot. beautiful. Had all the correct elements, textbook. The other guy was Pete Maravich. So my ball handling, my flashiness, my whatever, my unguardability part of the game that I had fed the shooting and vice versa. And then the other guy that I patterned my game after was a guy by the name of Earl the Pearl Monroe.
Earl the Pearl.
Earl the Pearl.
A pivot spot, have you going every which way, which, believe it or not, helped me to, I think in one game, shoot 21 or 22 foul shots at Juniata College.
Wow.
Because I could draw fouls, even though I wasn't a great foul shooter at 77%, which was part of what I talk about in the book.
Yeah.
Now I'm a 98%, and 98 under difficult circumstances, or game-like, 2 at a time, 3 at a time, different baskets, all of that.
Yeah.
But there were segments where, for example, in that game, I think I missed one foul shot. And from that became a learning experience that I didn't really pick up on until many years later that I began training during this journey other players. And it was that part of the game. If you're undersized, you need to do a lot. You need to become extraordinary at some things. And so I get into that with some players that I train.
Wow.
Undersized.
Yeah.
So you show up at Juniata. First of all, I want to get back to this television thing. Were you ever on TV? What do you mean they're televised?
I was. I think it was Altoona, PA, their local station, and they interviewed me. So he told some of what he was telling me came to fruition.
Yeah.
Maybe not the way it was pitched to me, but yeah. And very frankly, and I deal with this a lot when I'm training guys now, my senior year in high school, between plantar fasciitis and the other star that we had on the team and circumstances surrounding him, I questioned my own ability to play at Pitt. Pitt came at me pretty hard.
Yeah.
Tim Gergerich, I don't know if you gentlemen know that name, but Tim Gergerich was at a lot of our practices trying to recruit me. And boy, I regret, looking back on that, no offense to Juniata at all, but I regret not taking that step, possibly. But there have been others. Chuck Daly, I didn't know that Chuck Daly felt about shooting the way I came to learn later on.
Yeah.
Huh.
And that's probably why he was interested in me playing at Penn. Now, academic.
Wait a minute. So Chuck Daly was at Penn at that point? Are we talking about the Chuck Daly that I'm thinking of?
Yeah, the legendary Chuck Daly.
The legendary Chuck Daly, yeah.
Who coined the phrase, the great shooting conceals many sins. That was something that as recently as a few years ago, I heard that by a couple of former NBA players. Man, if I had known that, I may not have gone to Judy, but I was worried about academically staying there. I mean,
yeah,
I ended up being the only family member to ever go to college.
Oh, wow.
My father, whenever he was president, was kind of hell-bent on me going to the coal mines.
Okay.
And that's quite a departure.
What a different life that would have been.
Departure.
Yeah.
And I saw what he looked like coming out of that place. And it was scary. So I knew one thing. I'm going to go to college. I wasn't sure where, but I'm going to go to college and play basketball.
Yeah. So tell us about that team. Like, who were some of your teammates from that era?
From high school or the Juniata?
From Juniata, yeah.
Tay Waltonball was a player that we brought in, that the coach brought in from, I think he was going to another school I was recruited by, American University down in the area.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We got him to play there. The coach did. A kid by the name of Dane Medich, who was, I think he had been at Western Kentucky. He transferred out of Kentucky to play there. Bobby McDonald, I think was McNally. Bobby McNally played out of the Johnstown area. Eric Musselman. There was a very good guard, another guard on the team, more of a point guard. Bobby Musselman, who played for the team. We had a Andy. I'm trying to think of Andy's last name. He was our center. Our center was 6'5".
Okay,
that was our center height. What's your center height, Coach?
Well, I mean, our center right now is 6'5", like 230, but our we have a 4-man at 6'8". So like the size, you know what I mean? And then our depth, we've got some 6'7", 6'8" guys. Yeah, it's different.
Yep. And we had another big guy, NBA type big guy body by the name of Tim Tabor, who I think has remained in the area, if I'm not mistaken, relatively. Tim Tabor was a big force to reckon with on the boards. But again, at that 6'5" level, probably 240, 235, pretty solid player.
Pretty solid guy.
Don't take up space.
But I didn't have the height or the guys that I played with in the summer when I went back home during the summer that were 7 feet long, 7 feet tall with, I could misplace a ball. And my God, they made me look like a superstar. The coach actually started assigning, and this helped me on a discipline level because, Pete Maravich style playing, I had a lot of clever passes, tricky passes. And I would end up hitting my teammates in the face, or it would go through their hands, so he started assigning those failed attempts to me. So he said, "You're going to have a lot of turnovers."
So he gave those turnovers to you for the All right, I like it.
Okay, if they can't handle this ball, I'm going to start shooting more. And that's kind of what I resorted to.
There you go.
Sorry, coach.
Hey, that's how you get 50 right there. So that's how it works.
And a credit to the guys, and I probably don't need to go into this, but I mean this. Those guys, I was more self-conscious about shooting so much because I was in high school. We had 2 prolific scorers, me and the other guard that went to Pitt, Duquesne, that played with Norm Nixon.
Oh, wow.
Pretty good ball player this kid was, and got to try out with the Red R-back up in
Celtics.
Anyway, so I was a little more aware of that part of my game, maybe not to the extent where I would risk losing a game because if I wanted it to be about me, and I had experienced that. So I knew I wasn't going to be that guy. And I would, guys, I would almost shut down. And guys would be yelling, shoot it, shoot it, which is very unselfish of them to want me to continue to put the ball up.
Yeah.
So not a lot of teammates will do that.
No, not at all. I like to shoot. So over the years, how many times have you gotten to go back to Juniata, or do you follow the team at all?
I do follow the team. As a matter of fact, I followed one of the best years, I think, and I hope I got the year right, 2018 or 2017, where you had like 5 or 6 losses, I think. But I don't get back. God, I'd love to get back a lot more. Fortunately, some of the timing of some of the events that I've got to be involved in conflict with some of the events that Juniata's having, where I'd love to get back and mingle with everybody and see what's happening and revisit and all that.
Yeah.
No, I haven't been able to get back as frequently as I would like, frankly. But I think about it a lot, and I've tried to follow it. And I've even tried to attend a few games over the years while you guys are traveling, just to pop in, even if I could just pop in for a couple, a first half or minutes of a first half, depending on where you were playing.
Yeah.
In my area, or if I was traveling out, a little west of here.
Yeah. Yeah, I would just be curious. I mean, because that's an area, I wonder how different the campus would be, even back from when you were there till now. I mean, is it dramatically different? Is it not? I don't know.
I'd say dramatically. My perspective, I'd say dramatically. It's not a Penn State effect.
Yeah.
That same period of time. But it's somewhat dramatic. I mean, dramatic to me is, I'm a little biased. You have a better facility to play basketball in than I had.
They do have a nice one right now. Very nice.
They do.
Your weight room, your conditioning equipment, strength training, were probably a little upscale from what I had. Those were promises that
they finally came through. I don't know how many years later, but yeah.
So he misjudged the timing. But anyway, look, I tell people this, and I mean this. Had I gone somewhere else, had I gone to pursue that career in the NBA, I'm real convinced I probably wouldn't have stumbled into what I did with regards to shot making.
Yeah.
And demystifying it and simplifying it and recognizing that though the game has changed in many ways, I think in a dumbing down kind of effect at that level, I think some very valuable things have come through it as well. Now, guys my size, they can be superstars because of that 3-point line.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
very true. Yeah.
There's no height requirement. I mean,
Yeah.
oh my God. And I shot, I talk about the green light. I had a green light, and that lack of discipline and that ego that, wait, coach, don't tell me I can't make this shot. Watch me.
Yeah.
And making it a tougher shot than it needed to be. Well, that perspective gives me a lot of credence with the guys I'm training and urging them to take the right kinds of shots.
Yeah.
And I didn't have that. I had that green light, and it can work against you.
Yeah.
I reflect back on that. One little known fact, I guess, about my as difficult a shot selection as I took. I think I shot around 54% as a guard.
Yeah.
And took some crazy, because I was a miniature version of Pete Maravich.
You were just pulling up.
He didn't play like Maurice Cheeks.
Yeah.
He played like Pete Maravich.
Yeah.
Yeah, through the legs and behind the back. And I loved the fan reaction. And Juniata, that arena, that pit was intimidating while I was playing there.
Yeah.
I mean, they on the mezzanine, and what we had back then was a W&D section, Wild and Delirious. They're sitting right
we need
behind
that now.
Wild and Delirious. I like that.
And
Tom
these guys
coined that we're bringing it back.
Yep.
Yeah, right behind the visiting bench and harassing them the whole time, as well as the fans looking down on you, yelling, screaming at you. And the townspeople filling. I mean, the people were lined up. They were outside watching through the doorway, which was kind of fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was an exciting time.
Yeah.
To have that community.
So before we go past Juniata, I do have to ask. So who were the big rivals back then? So in the 70s, who were the teams that what conference were you in at that point?
It was the ECAC.
ECAC, okay.
ECAC and the likes of Lehigh, believe it or not. Remember Lehigh?
Yeah.
3 school. Albright. We played Albright Textile. It was called then Philadelphia. Herbie McGee.
Okay.
Great legendary shooting coach out here in Philadelphia, Herbie McGee. Now it's called Jefferson University, I think.
Okay.
But that was a big rivalry. Albright Scranton was strong.
So Scranton was still a rival back then.
Yeah, Scranton was a big one.
Long time rival.
Franklin and Marshall was part of the mix, but I guess it depended on the year, as is the case sometimes. Let me see. There was a California PA.
Cali, yep.
Right? They usually were a strong contender, but those were probably Lycoming.
Oh, so Luke Heiming has come back around and is now back in the conference.
And I had heard about back from here in Philly, having moved in Philadelphia. I've been to some of the games where the college coaches will show up, and some of those people have enlightened me that Lycoming, I don't know when it was, maybe in the 50s or 60s, had won an NCAA championship, like, Cinderella story kind of season.
Wow.
Lycoming College. Those were some of the programs that we were most excited about playing because of the rivalryness part of it. Which, thank God, will not be influenced to the degree that D1 is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's lost. That is totally lost.
It's forever lost. We were talking about this before. I still believe right now, Division III is still, at least right now, is still pure sports.
I love that.
And I loved it about it, right?
Yep.
So you come off of a senior year where you score almost 30 a game. What happens next? Did you float around the idea of playing beyond Juniata? Or did you jump right into a workforce?
I in my mind, I did.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had thought that because of the circumstances, when I was contacted by the Seattle SuperSonics, for example.
Yeah.
They were pretty honest with me. You're going to go up to Bangor, Maine. Bangor, Maine. And they gave me a good depiction of what Bangor, Maine was like. At the level and the brand of ball that was being played there, it was animal-like basketball. I'm 6 feet, 170 pounds.
Yeah.
Animal-like.
There's not a lot of activity up there, unless you're chopping down. Well, I won't go there. Yeah, not a lot of things to do. But the reality was that guard that's on that team is being paid a lot of money. And even though, and this is what the coach said to me, even though you may be arguably better than that guard, the owner who's writing those checks, he's not going to be real happy watching you play when you're not making anything like that. And that guy who's getting that money no matter what, whether that no-cut contract thing, is sitting on the bench.
Huh.
And I thought, wow. That
kind of still true today.
Yeah.
That was my introduction to the business of basketball.
Yeah.
And I thought, gee, wait a second, man. That doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
I'm going to go out there. I want his position. I want that playing time.
Yeah.
Okay, I might not need that money, but if I'm that good, I'm expecting to play.
Yeah.
And I smile when I say that, but the one thing I didn't benefit from, and I talk about this to the players I train, is I never really, and this was another reason why I went to Juniata, I think. I was afraid how I would react, thinking for the moment that at Pitt, at UNC Greensboro, some of these other Niagara, any of these other schools that were, interested in me, even Penn, even Ivy League. Could I sit on the bench? I never sat on the bench.
Yeah.
And what my point, though, is to sit next to a certain somebody, like some of those coaches, and watch the game from that perspective that I had never enjoyed or benefited from. It's kind of something I lost out on or I missed. Because I talk about guys, I urge guys to take advantage of that time and don't sit at the end of the bench next to the coach.
Sure.
And listen to those murmurs, listen to those comments, or watch the game differently. Don't watch the game with the anticipation. I can't wait to get in there. I hope that somebody calls. No, watch it with the intent of learning what's happening, trying to decipher what's happening.
Yeah.
And that can make you a better basketball player. And I never had that. And the fact, being truthful, I don't know how I would have reacted to that. I never had to sit.
Yeah.
And I don't like the way that sounds, but that's a reality.
Yeah.
Could I have sat? And what would I have done? Would I dismissed myself from the program in some kind of way, surreptitiously or otherwise? I don't know.
So at the end of the day, though, you probably were at the right place then for what you needed.
I feel that I certainly wouldn't have delved into what I accidentally stumbled into with regards to this unintended 17, 18-year journey now.
Well, let's get into that journey. So tell us a little bit about that. Like what obsessed you with the idea of the perfect shot?
I think a little bit of, a lot of old heads will talk about, they're angered by the amount of money these guys are making now and blah, 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 blah. It wasn't really that. It was that I saw the development in so many other areas that I'm questioning. My God, they're even closer for a foul shot. They're even closer. Many of these guys are 6'5", 6'6", 6'8". They're closer technically. You can't use the excuse the line moved back. Well, that's my issue. The foul shot, and then articles coming out about things like that I'm wrestling with in my own mind because these are gut feelings or I'm trying to push aside my whatever biases I may have, and we all have them. Well, I'm bitter, I'm angry, no, I don't think I'm that, but I can't help but notice how many guys are missing foul shots. And then finding articles like the New York Times that's doing a 50-year, I guess, a snapshot of 5 decades, and the article, which was somewhat lengthy for the New York Times, was all about 50 years of practicing foul shooting and no results in big black New York font style ink. Hitting you there and thinking, whoa, what is that about? And they went through it and they explained. They couldn't explain. Coaches are practicing. They have their teams practicing. but guys aren't making over this 5-year.
They just weren't seeing an improvement.
None.
Huh.
If the needle moved, it moved as little as a 1%.
Wow.
50 years.
Wow.
And that, oh my God, what is that all about? And so I started questioning, that doesn't make sense. The guy, I wasn't supposed to touch a weight. I played quarterback in high school, starting quarterback for a quad A program. Football back then and basketball in Pittsburgh was a hotbed of talent, right? A lot of players, football. Anyway, Galo, if you touch a weight, don't even bother coming out for the basketball team. I mean, and you believe that. You're going to get muscle bound, right? It's laughable.
Yeah.
But those were the restrictions we were trying to play basketball in.
Man, it's changed now.
What about the equipment? So all these advancements that have gone everywhere around the game, the way we eat, the way we train, the way we condition, the way we recover, the equipment, the force plays, all this. And shooting is declining. Now that's only foul shooting. No, that happened at the Olympics where we embarrassed ourselves, right? They wrote article after article, New York Times, USA Today, Wall Street Journal. These articles are covering why shooting doesn't seem to be improving. So while that's happening, I'm questioning, why was I such a great shooter? And that was quite a discovery in and of itself. And then I went to Temple University to talk to a physicist. And every time I went to the university to shoot at McGonigal Hall, whenever I could, sneak in and put some shots up and play with some good ball players, I would do that. And in the floor level of the court was their kinesiology department. So I'm meandering through the halls and reading these interesting articles about science and the influence of physics and kinesiology. And I decided to tap into the brain of one of those physicists. And when I showed him my release, he said to me, well, I never played basketball, but that was stupid. Wait a second. I'm in my 50s.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit insulted by the way you pitched that to me. A little bit. And with all due respect, Professor, you didn't play basketball? No, I didn't. But I don't need to. I don't have to tell you what I just said. You can't physically do that. You can't, and neither can anybody else. And what I showed him was one of the two most universal releases taught for the last 70 years.
All right. Now, show us that release. So I know we're on video here, but what was the release that you were showing him that he said was ridiculous?
Those two fingers.
Coming off the two fingers.
Yeah. And when you come off those two fingers, you have, in order to go straight, first of all, the physics part, they're two different lengths.
That's true.
Round object. It physically can't come off of those two fingers simultaneously. In order for you to try to make it come off, you have to turn your wrist. Coach Curley, watch your guys at practice tomorrow if they're there or whenever they get back. How many guys, when they shoot, if they're right-handers, shoot and turn their wrist rightward?
You said that I just watched a younger girl at our day camp last week was shooting against the wall and her wrist kept turning out. And that's exactly what you described. That's crazy.
Now, Coach, when you did that, it didn't stop here. It went like this.
Yeah.
So your arm that is connected to your wrist is influenced by that. Yeah, interesting, isn't it? Guess what? I was third in the country. I was an NBA prospect. I was doing that. Guess what I read every book touting growing up? And I read everything I could about what? Shooting.
Yeah.
I wasn't 7 feet tall. I'd better hang my hat on shooting, and more specifically, making a lot of them. That's why I refer to myself as a shot-making specialist versus a shooting coach. I think that's gotten water. Everybody in basketball is a shooting coach to some degree, from some level on up. They all know Gooseneck. Guys, Gooseneck. Well, you got to do that for what? Rotation.
Yeah.
Well, after I tried to prove that physicist wrong, 2 weeks later, I'm looking for that physicist to have another discussion. I couldn't prove him wrong. Actually, that was one of the most brilliant, I hate to say it that way, the biggest discoveries that I made immediately. Well, you can't come off of two. And this was the index, point the index. Well, you still have to turn your wrist, which usually is followed by this action when a guy shoots. So it's not either of these two. What could it be? Guess what I found out when I went and tracked him down? His advice was go talk to the professor of anatomy. Guess what? Now he's earned my respect now.
Yeah.
Let me go talk to another scientist. Not a basketball, but by the way, I went to a lot of basketball people. I'm comfortable with basketball people.
Yeah.
We think alike. Yeah, they don't think like us. They know things we don't know. But this is a real, do you guys golf at all? Could you imagine on a putt turning your wrist, Greg?
No.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, I've done it and it's not good.
Not going to end well, right?
No.
Anyway, and we grew up on that. And here's a kicker. I'll chime in right now. Your kids are older, right, Tom?
Yeah.
I just met somebody in Vegas whose daughter is 8 years old. She's being taught the same mechanics that I grew up on.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm pretty old. I'm much older than that 8-year-old. And she's being taught, as is if it were a boy, the same mechanics, the movements, the core movements that I grew up on. That's archaic.
It just hasn't changed. Yeah.
The change. And the ultimate decision in that or summary of that article from the New York Times about foul shooting is the only thing they could make of it is nobody has come up with any innovation when it comes to the way we shoot. And I don't know why it was me, but it was me. And that was a big one. Finding out that and this is great, and anatomically, the straightest finger, the most centered finger in your hand is the longest finger. It is the strong. I didn't know this. A lot of people, I'll ask them, which do you think is the strong? The thumb, the index, right? Guess what? Coincidentally, the strongest finger is the middle finger. Now, if I'm pointing, I don't know if you can see this, but if I'm pointing to wherever I'm pointing with that middle finger, guess what? It doesn't invite a turn.
Mm-hmm.
It eliminates it.
Yeah.
It eliminates a turn, another movement, I call it extraneous motion movement, that you don't want to have if you're trying to shoot straight. If you could shoot straight without that time, there's a timing issue involved now when you go to release. And while you're releasing a jump shot, you're probably up in the air. Yeah. And at that point in time, there's probably somebody in front of you trying to deter you from getting that ball to go where you're trying to direct it. But you're doing these things because you were taught or trained to do them based on the principles that are mostly based, and this was another discovery, kind of like the way I learned how to shoot. I watched Rick Mount, and I tried to mimic what he did. And that's how I learned to shoot. Now, I could have picked Larry Bird, but thank God I didn't because he has a uniquely different shot. Joakim Noah, I remember, he twisted the ball out of his.
Yeah.
Right? But no, those guys weren't great. I mean, the one guy was a great shooter, but the point is, that's what I came to realize, that what we learned, what we developed, and what we accepted as being the way to do it was because it had worked for somebody to such a level, and then it became copied, and it became the norm. It really became the way to do it. And this gooseneck action, the physicist said that was ridiculous. Why was the gooseneck ridiculous?
So without it, though, how would you get the spin?
That's what the ridiculous part was born out of.
Yeah.
As you go from cocked to straight and by the way, if you look at guys and stop video of guys shooting, you'll see that the ball leaves their hand as soon as this snaps straight. The ball's off. But the continuation is that. And that continuation follows down, not followed through, but followed down. And you're shooting up in a way, by the way. So we call it a follow through, not a follow up.
Yeah.
Isn't necessary. It's extraneous movement. Now, is that so bad? What happens after you let the ball go? Yes, but the velocity, the speed, the timing of it happening can vary. There's just more variability.
Yeah, because you might snap it quicker than, okay, yeah.
Some guys have, and you'll see this, you've seen it, I'm sure. Some guys have, there's a guy at the Sixers I wanted to work with who was brought in years ago. He was a player, Xavier Silas. I remember him because I would have played, had I played in the NBA, I would have played with Paul Silas. I don't think they're related, but I remember the name because of that. Xavier Silas, when he was with the Sixers and he struggled with shooting mightily, he literally stress fractured because he had such a violent.
Oh, wow.
And that snap can vary.
Yeah.
The snap, what I came to learn from the anatomist, the professor of anatomy at this university, and I think about that. You guys are all very intelligent. You've been around ball a long time. What if that anatomist said to either of you, you're probably not aware of this, but do you know what the weakest part, an anatomist who didn't play basketball again, another guy who didn't play basketball.
Yeah.
The weakest part of your shooting system is from here to there. The weakest. You know what else he attached to that? The most finicky. The weakest, the most finicky, and the most unreliable area.
I can see that.
Yeah.
From here to here. And what do we place so much emphasis on?
Right there.
To here. And being the weakest, and he said, I think it was 6 pounds of pressure, only 6 pounds of pressure it takes to break or damage that wrist. Now, what do we do with that wrist as a basketball player? We pass, we dribble a lot.
Yeah.
We rebound, and we shoot.
Yeah.
We always talk about in here to this day about fatigue in the legs. I ran 40 miles a week in my 40s.
Jeez.
They're strong. This is very unreliable, very weak, very finicky, very many multiple movements, 27 bones, hundreds of ligaments, blah, blah, blah. So whatever we can do, and this is what he challenged, he said, whatever you can do to address that, you would be onto something. I'm like, what could I do to well, guess what? That rotation, according to the physicist, and I tried this at Rucker Park. I'll never forget it. I drove into Rucker Park in a suit. I took the jacket off. I took the tie off. I rolled my sleeves up. It's 11:30 at night at Rucker Park in New York. Look at me.
Yeah.
There's a couple guys with bottles in a bag sitting on the bleachers, and I got to go in there because I don't want to delude myself. I want to ask them, because I'm watching me doing this, challenging, what if I don't break my wrist? What if I don't, do I still get rotation? Do I want to believe I get it? Am I deluding myself? No. I go in there, I almost start an argument between two guys that are watching me, and I said, please just focus on whether that ball rotates, spins, and whether my wrist goes down. That's all I want you guys to focus on. Will you do that for me? I'll buy you another bottle.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what one guy says, no, he didn't. Yes, he did. No. So we do it again. We did it 3 times. They finally agreed that I did not gooseneck. I got in that car, drove all the way back to Philadelphia to go home excitedly because I had another pair of eyes now those pair of eyes may have been a little bit questionable, but they came to an agreement at one point that no, I did not snap my wrist down. I did that my entire life. We all do that.
Yeah.
But you know what else I did that I never knew about? I never knew how my dominant eye played into my accuracy and consistency. Dominant eye. Yeah, we all have it. We all have a dominant eye.
Yeah, we all have a dominant eye. Yeah.
And just because you're right-handed doesn't mean your right eye is dominant, nor does it mean your left eye is dominant. You need to know which eye is dominant. And while you're shooting, do you block your eye? And I've worked with a lot of players that block their eye, one eye. Well, whichever eye it is kind of important. But the bottom line is, for depth, distance, 3-ball shooting, you need both eyes. An optometrist will tell you that. To gauge distance, blocking one eye is hazardous to your accuracy.
Another good point.
Yeah, this has been a pretty eye-opening
yeah. So you guys used to make fun of my shooting. I shot like out this way. Maybe I was trying not to block my eyes. You think of that, Curly?
You were blocking something.
doing that. Not with your arm. Not with your arm.
It sounds like somebody should write a book about this. Somebody should write a book about this, start a shooting method. That's what
you put this all, is it, so at the end of the day, you got a book.
Yeah.
And so where are we in the process though? You've documented this, but yet I have 2 girls who play in high school still right now. And everything you've said about how they've been coached is how they've still been coached.
Yeah.
How has this not gotten further widespread or has it? And I'm not aware of it.
That's the question. I can't answer that. I keep beating myself up about I've got to be going about it the wrong way. I've got to be. My excitement was so much that I left corporate America a little prematurely, looking back on it, thinking that when they see what I've done or they watch what it is capable of providing, the speed of the shot, the other ancillary elements that enables me to shoot equally as effectively from the right wing as the left wing, which is commonly not the case. Everybody shoots better on one side than the other. Well, that's connected to a lot of stuff that I've discovered and engineered into this Galo shot making method. Galo stands for, obviously it's my last name, but the way of me branding or protecting it, generating or gaining, G, accuracy with linear, fancy word for a straight line, optimization, gaining accuracy with linear optimization. And I literally shot my entire basketball life out of a platform that was designed to have me shooting crooked effectively. I know that sounds crazy, but most of your basketball players, Greg, and correct me if I'm wrong, probably go up to that foul line if they're right-handed. They try to find that, it'll be called a lot of things. You know that. A dot.
A nail,
that thing, whatever it is. It's technically a painter's nail, but they'll try to find that and they'll orientate their body according to that nail.
Mm-hmm.
Totally unaware that basket might have gotten misaligned to begin with relative to the straightness to that nail. Meaning guys dunking on over years, depending on how it's attached, it can tweak. If it tweaks a half of an inch, but from that distance, 13 feet, 9 inches to that nail, that half inch becomes 2 inches, 2.5 inches. So they'll go up there, and I literally watched this live at St. Joe's University game one night when the visiting team came in, and I happened to stop by second half just to catch whatever part of the game I could. And I'm watching the opponents come in. And while they were going up to that line to find that nail, most of them went and did almost like a double take to gain some sense of, am I in the center? Am I where it doesn't look right kind of a mentality, a demeanor, that kind of behavior, like second guessing.
Yeah.
So I thought, I'm staying to the end of the game. And when this building clears out, and the security people are out on the court, I'm going to ask them if, because I'm going to meet Phil Martelli. I'm going to meet Phil Martelli tomorrow, and I want to talk to him about what I've witnessed tonight. And I need to just go down here to this foul line and down here to this foul line. Are you guys okay with that? That's literally what I did. Do you know what 4 inches. That was my guesstimate. Wow. Long story short, 3 years later, after I had gone to a couple of assistants the next day to say, hey, is Coach here? I'd like to talk to him about something. Who are you? I go, I'm Roger Galo. You don't know me, but I'd like to talk to him about his baskets. They're misaligned. He's not here. Well, would you let him know that I was here and that I'd like to talk to him about his baskets? They shot 67% from the foul line that season.
Oh, wow.
3 years later, never got to coach. 3 years later, I finally get to coach because I'm showing him this video that I made. It took 138 shots. I made 135. I shot at LaSalle University with a boxing glove on my hand.
Whoa.
Now, that boxing glove, technically speaking, that's a heavy bag boxing glove. So
Okay.
no fingers.
Yeah.
It's curled over. It's not as bulbous, but it's
Yeah.
bulbous. It has no I take away tactile sensation. Was a shooter, you should know some of the stories guys went to, what the lengths they went to develop tactile sensation. Some
Yeah.
guys literally sanded their fingertips. Imagine that.
Whoa.
Because it was so valuable.
Yeah.
I'm shooting now with that litmus testing device. That's what it really was to me. And I'm shooting straighter than I've ever shot. I'm shooting with better rotation, and people wrote about my shot than I've ever had with that glove on. Why? Because there's one single contact point, round object against another round object, but one contact point. And I eliminated the propensity to do that because it's already curled over.
Yeah.
And I've experienced doing that to it with that glove on. You'll go underneath the net. The point is, I meet with Phil Martelli, and he's squirming in his seat. I haven't put this glove on because I'm trying to pitch him on how I could improve his shooting from everywhere, especially the foul line. And he's fidgeting in his seat. And I go, Coach, and I'm showing him this video, and he's watching me shoot all these shots, 3-pointers with this glove on. And he goes, oh my God. He goes, Roger, I don't know if you're aware, but this guy, this big donor, donated a lot of money. They went through a complete remodel. They ran a laser, and they found that the hoops were off 4.5 inches.
Huh. Whoa.
So when I tell you this journey has been eye-opening, it's incredibly so much easier to shoot straight, and doing it in a way that little kids, when they're at the gym because their brother or sister are playing, but they're too little, and they're trying to heave that basketball up to that basket just to keep them busy and out of mom or dad's hair.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing things intrinsically or intuitively based on a centered format. Whether they're doing it overhead, which coincidentally was the way we shot back in the 40s, either a chest shot,
Straight
right,
up.
or overhead. Where'd that emanate from? Well, straight in front of your eyes. That should be dictating straightness and position of ball, not a right foot based on a nail that might have your body. And you should see the photos or video I take of guys from behind them, me being very centered to the basket, and their body position relative to that basket they're trying to shoot a foul shot. And you will see why I said what I did about I shot my entire life predicated on a shooting crooked mentality. Now, it's a lot easier to shoot straight than it is to shoot crooked. And could that play into why somebody's better on one side of the court than the other side of the court? Yeah. Hell yeah. Their body angle dictated by their hips, their knees, their feet position, all that. So it's been quite a journey, and I'm glad you asked me about it. I'm sorry about the long-winded response, but there's
it's kind of fascinating.
Yeah, it is.
That make it a lot simpler to become a very effective shooting team. And the further out you are, this was a discovery. Well, I'll shut up there.
No, but what? So I am curious though, so you're having success with this. You've written this book.
Individually, by the way. I'm trained.
Individually.
Yeah.
How come nobody has finally, I mean, I guess it's a hard thing to change.
Hard sell. Yeah.
100 years of history.
Yes, it is. And we know, and I made the mistake of going to I'm in my 50s doing this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a lot of time. If I was in my 20s or 30s, I would have done I'll work with the 6th, 7th, 8th graders. I'll do all these camps and clinics.
Yeah.
And I'll grow it from a grassroots perspective. Wait, I was questionably an NBA prospect. I thought, wow, this is remarkable. I didn't want this to work. Why? Because I didn't want to admit I'd been going around about it all wrong for the last 40 years.
Yeah.
And I read everybody who were titled as professional shooting coaches putting out books and literature about how we should be doing it. And the gap between the ball and the hand.
Yeah. You always hear about that. Yeah.
Which gap? Which gap is the appropriate gap? Yeah. I had a gap. I tried to create a gap. Did I ever check even on a foul shot what gap was correct? I think I'll make this foul shot because I think I got the right gap this time. Never saw anybody do that. But Dave Hopley, I just took pictures with Dave Hopley. I don't know if any of you know Dave.
Yeah.
Great shooting coach, big advocate of the gap, big advocate of elbow under. Herbie McGee, another shooting coach, elbow under. When they go to shoot, guess where elbow isn't?
Under.
Now, I could show it. I could put that ball, Juniata ball, in my hand, turn my body, and show you elbow under. But when you see him shoot a shot and the camera's rolling, elbow is out.
Elbow's out.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So we could talk to you all day about this, but I want to know, who do I watch that is shooting the way that you have taught how to shoot, whether it's in college, NBA, like who am I watching now to see this difference?
Yeah.
You'd have to watch kids that you wouldn't even know the names of because they've been trained by me, fully trained.
Yeah.
In the NBA, for example, and I thought, well, it sounds like a sales pitch, but it's a reality because I've looked at different players. And I'm thinking, well, Steph Curry has probably 10%, maybe 12% of this system. AD has probably 7 or 8%. And I'm really trying to think about the percentages.
That's not very much.
No.
Not very much. Klay Thompson has a percentage of it on select shots, meaning maybe on a catch and shoot. He has a higher percentage of it than he does off of a dribble. Well, somebody else off of a dribble has a percentage of it. The bearded one, left-handed.
Harden.
Oh, Harden. James Harden.
He has got probably 5% of it. Okay. Now I don't know what those ought to add up to, but I'm gonna pick a number. 29%. Well, what if I took that 29% and that one player had all of those elements of those guys? Would they be a pretty good shooter? You'd like to think, yeah, if you could collectively get all these guys together and become a robo shooter, robotic like,
Yeah.
and do the other 70% that they don't know from the waist down, or the conflict from right upper quadrant to left upper quadrant that's taking place in every one of those guys today that they don't realize, they aren't aware of how it affects. I didn't know my left foot affected my right hand release. How important is that? It's the furthest part away from this up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That can't be that important. It's hugely important. It's so important that it convinced me I was onto something when I questioned the effectiveness of the step back. And I got a chance to sit with the NOAA people in Vegas 2 seasons ago. I was actually there, and the agent invited me to join. And I thought, oh, wow, I get a chance to ask them about the step back. Because my observations were telling me, as easy a shot as that is, because you create all this space, I'm wondering how effective, how many guys are really knocking it down? Because when they show highlights, they aren't showing Greg Curley, I want to call you, keep calling you Hurley, Greg Curley or Thomas Frank or Biz, anybody missing them, they're showing the guys making them.
Right.
I asked a question of the people that Noah, the machine. I don't know if you guys are aware of it, but now they've got the entry angle, the most optimal entry angle, the exit angle, the facial recognition. This is sophisticated beyond your imagination. They got all this stuff, and they're telling me that I said, hey, what's the NBA think about the step back? They hate it. Wait, well, that's pretty quick, and that's pretty adamant the way you said it. What? And I'm thinking loudly. It was rhetorical, but he answered. I go, why? Now I'm thinking, guys don't make them. I'm thinking that. I've been thinking that for 5 years. He goes, guys don't make them. Now, I think I know why. Well, no, I believe wholeheartedly I know why. But that's what led me to question whether or not guys were making them. Half their body is going opposite direction.
Yeah.
The other, their body, they're trying to, and there's no adjustment apparently being made based on my observations that are pretty good at studying motion or movements. Well, that's what shot making is all about. Movements, timing, simplicity of movements, reduction of movements, if you can do that. Mm-hmm. And that's what I've become pretty good at. But that was oh my God. Now, why me? I don't know. But
so how now the book just came out, right? It just hit stores, right? So maybe this is the start of all this, right? That hopefully we
and
can
I'm
help
hoping that opens up. It's a thought, Greg. Thank you for getting that out there. It's an attempt, and I was pressed by and I got a great publisher. It's the leader in sports publishing, Triumph Books, and I was flattered to have them do it. And they're pressing me on the deadline, and I'm thinking, geez, it was supposed to be a thought-provoking book. Questioning, was that the best way to do it? Or was it just the most commonly used way and became popular to do it that way? So we bought into it and we've never wandered. We've never questioned it. Like I never questioned my shot. Why would I question my shot? People were commending me about it. So that was what the book started as, thought-provoking. Could there be a categorically more effective way to shoot? And I'm here to say, yeah. And throughout the book, I'm trying to suggest that there is. And by the way, it wasn't going to ever become an instructional book, but as I got deeper and deeper into it, I was starting to feel as though I really, because I'm not going to write another one. I'd like it to become an instructional book.
An instructional book, yeah.
But I don't have the time. I'm risking blowing up the contract, and and that God knows how that could end. So I opted to just dropping gems throughout the book about which part of your hand do you think you should release the ball to add to your probabilities of making that shot and gaining control or gaining a straighter path to the basket from your hand and arm area.
Yeah.
Just stuff like that. I got a triple threat maneuver, triple threat. I've created my own triple threat maneuver. No one has changed the triple threat. We're still taught the triple threat.
Very true.
My triple threat, and I hate to say it, my triple threat sounds crazy, but there's a way to be a bigger threat, especially if you're undersized. And it's not the triple threat we all know. It's my version of a triple threat. And it means you can dribble left or right. You can shoot whenever. You can pass left or right. When you're a triple threat player, aren't you dominantly on one side? Well, that offers some advantages, doesn't it? It sounds like. Yeah.
It definitely does.
It enables me to shoot against NBA level big guys looking like me. That's pretty crazy. Anyway.
Well, this has been fascinating. Yes. All right. So you got to give everybody where they can get this book now. Tell them where they can get it, how they can get a hold of you, because we got the biggest audience in the world right here. So we're going to get people shooting a whole different way.
Yes. Well, I'm proud to say it's now available at bookstores like Barnes and Noble. It's available through online, all the books, any bookstore you can go to should be able to have it or gain access to it. And it can be ordered online through Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Target, any bookstore you'd care to support. And that was probably one of the hardest things I've ever undertaken.
Yeah, I was going to say, hey, do you wish you would have paid a little more attention in the writing composition courses at Juniata if you knew you were going to write a book or what?
Greg, you have no idea how much more attention I would have paid. And the truth be told, and I know a lot of people are fully aware of the sciences that exist, the strength of that program at Juniata. And I wished I had taken a much deeper interest in physics. Geometry and math plays a big role in increasing the probability of making a shot. Geometry and math. If somebody had said that in my classroom, man, I would have stood up and started thinking, wait, it's connected. By the way, I did a STEM-based, it was an elementary school, a STEM-based shooting demonstration, and gave them a couple projects or homework assignments or challenges that the teachers loved and thought it was a big hit. But it's because it has the science, the technology, the engineering, all those elements of STEM. I tried to prove science wrong, man. No, I'm not that brilliant.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Roger, thank you. Yes. And for everybody listening, you got to go check it out. The Pursuit of the Perfect Shot by Robert Galo. Everywhere. It's everywhere. I want to give this a shot. I might be out in the front yard.
Get it for the girls, Thomas.
Hey, I might be ready by the time we have our alumni weekend game.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe I'll be out there shooting this time.
Yeah, maybe not.
I showed up one of those years ago, the alumni game.
Well, if you get back, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but I'm Team Blue. This is Team Gold. We like to go at it a little bit.
I bet you do. I bet you do.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to our next matchup.
Yeah.
And Greg was a defender, right, Greg?
Yeah, that was I'm still got that identity, but I tell you what, and these two knuckleheads just draft teams and coach. So they bring our guys and they brought that. But I gotta your enthusiasm for this and your perspective and the ability to kind of take something that's traditional, look at it differently. It's it's refreshing. It's really, really neat. I mean, it's great to see your passion and the opportunity to be a part. I appreciate you sharing it with us.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. I mean, just your ability to communicate, like the liberal arts education and the kind of the backings of a Juniata, you can see it through there. And we're excited to be that platform to go from, like you said, a corporate world for 20 years to doing this. Like, who would have thought that, right? And to see your book on Billboard, it's really cool. pretty amazing. And it should be an inspiration. Now, right now, the guys on our team are listening and they're guys like you. I need the green light. I got to shoot all the time. Like,
let's make sure they hear the positive.
They got to read the book first. No green lights until the book's read.
But the positives, they're going to pay more attention when they're in their English courses and their writing courses because they know they might need it somewhere. So it's come full circle to the academic moment. So I love it.
Very well stated, man. You're right. You are spot on, Greg. That's why you're a good coach, man. What the most winningest coach in the history of the program?
All-time winningest coach in Juniata history.
Anywhere.
That's right.
Well, we're worried about this next year. We're just going to keep going and see what we can do next. So, I mean, the enthusiasm you have, hopefully we still have it for what we're doing and trying to look at all those kind of things. And it really, again, just really cool to hear. I think the STEM program for elementary kids, there's another avenue. My gosh, you can get that to science teachers everywhere. How cool would that be to connect that for kids? So, congratulations all. This is
absolutely
really, really neat.
Thank you for coming and spending this time with us. It's been fantastic.
I'm glad I could finally reconnect with Juniata through this.
Good.
Absolutely.
And I can tell you, Juniata is proud of you and doing this because it's been spread across campus when the book came out and did all those kind of things. And, I hear the stories of you playing, but to have it so current and to have it out there and now the pride people have that, you have a book coming out and that you're really changing, like in the industry, you're a forerunner and you're a thought provocation to get people to think differently about something that's been there forever is really, really neat.
Thank you, Greg. And that's gratifying. I appreciate that. Very gratifying. And it all happened. It all started with my courses at Juniata.
There you go.
Thinking, and they urged us as freshmen to think outside the box a little bit. And I carried that. Boy, did I carry that to another level.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
So, I loved every minute of it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And listeners, that is Robert Galo. Go get this book, The Pursuit. Roger, what did I just say? Roger. That's what editing. Good editing. I'm so enthralled with this. Roger Galo, thank you. The Pursuit of the Perfect Shot.
Thank you, guys.
All right, fellas. Follow the show on Instagram at Juniata Basketball Show. Subscribe to the Juniata Men's Basketball Show on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Leave us a rating on Apple. And spread the word, Juniata Nation. I'm Tom Frank.
I'm Biz.
I'm the head coach, Greg Curley.
Bada boom. Thank you. That was really, really interesting. Yes.